still involved in this set. Extraordinary to a magnificent set. A real freebie there.
I don't like it when people lose points. I mean, individual points is fine, but lose sets on a double serve. Or I even saw one earlier in the week where they lost the whole match because of a double serve. Or a double, what's it called? The fail, I can't remember now. When they missed the serve twice in a row. Double fault. Oh, it breaks my heart. I don't enjoy watching that. I enjoy watching when they're playing well and just one of them plays too well. But that was very sad. I'm happy Sinner won the set, but I'm very sad he won it that way. Right. I've got a few minutes now to watch that. I've just come home from seeing Slave Play and I will talk about it. I just bit my lip, but I'm going to try and find some food first. I'm going to leave I was going to have something specific, but I'm going to leave it for my grandma because she's going to be home in about an hour or so and I need to find something else to eat. Maybe I'll just there's a tiny bit of challah left. Maybe I'll have that with hachel, to be honest, because I think it will go off. And this cheese is good till the 21st of October, which is pretty impressive, but it contains rennet, which I'm not a fan of, to be honest. So we'll leave that. And there's also these falafel balls, I think, and I don't know where they came from when they were bought. I don't know anything about them, but I don't really fancy them. What's the best before? 15th of July. Today it's the 11th, so we've got time on those, that's fine. Right, maybe I'll just have challah. Or I could fry up the schnitzel. There's a vegetarian schnitzel in the freezer. I might do that. I might have the schnitzel and then see. Oh, I need to put the dishwasher on as well. Right, I'm gonna sort myself out. I've literally more or less just walked through the door, took my shoes off, and now I'm here. And you know what? The cleaner came today. I did know about that, and I was looking forward to it. And it is so lovely. It's so nice. She's an excellent cleaner and she's done a very good job. And I'm very grateful because there were a lot of things that I'd left for myself to do tonight that she's done, which is really great considering I have less time than I thought I would. Let me sort myself out and then I will talk to you, and I want to try and find something to balance you on because I don't like leaning down. Hello, let's have a chat while I'm frying up my schnitzel. You are rested very precariously on my kettle, but hopefully that'll do. The dishwasher is on, so that's good. And I think more or less everything else is okay, I hope. All day, basically the last few days, I've been keeping an eye out for cheap tickets, or free, obviously, and especially I really want to go and see Kathy and Stella with my cousin who was here the last 2 days, or a few days actually, and I'm looking out for Frozen tickets to see with a friend, even though I've seen it already. And there's just a few shows. There's quite a number of shows I'm curious to see, but I'm not willing to spend a lot of money to see. And so even though I was looking out for them on Tuesday and Wednesday, I think there were actually a few last night that were either being sold quite cheaply or for free even, maybe, I don't know. But the cost of transport in London is such that even if I get a ticket for free, it is still going to cost me more than I would like to spend on a day off, so to speak. Which is the same reason why I tend to do my dance classes, I may have spoken about this already, either before or after work, because I want to combine my travel. And so I knew that Thursdays, it was actually because of last week, because I met up with my friend sort of near Covent Garden, Leicester Square, that area. And she put it in my head that, you know, I can walk from work to that area and I could go see cheap or free shows. So I had planned for it tonight. I had actually made sure that I had enough food with me. I was, you know, reasonably dressed, everything. Not even like that I needed to look good, but just layers. And you know what? I was right. So all day I'd been looking, and there were a few people selling tickets for like £20, but I'd already said to myself, I don't really fancy spending more than 10, which I know is ridiculous, but I live in London, I have the opportunity to go quite frequently, and people do occasionally sell for cheaper than 10, so that was kind of my upper limit, especially because I just have a lot going on the next few weeks. Not even actually that much, I'm just working less, so I want to not spend as much. But then I was looking again on a few different places where I look, and on the whole, everyone, as I say, was selling. But then really, literally, as I was like, I had been checking all day, reloading the page maybe every half hour, maybe every hour. And as I was leaving work, I was actually leaving work later than usual today because stuff happened, and that was fine. But as I was leaving, someone tagged me in something on Twitter saying, I can see you like this, I still have a ticket available for today, do you want it? And I had no idea what it was. And apparently last week someone had posted that next Thursday they have a free ticket available, and I totally forgot about it. Totally. And I try to like everything because A, I want to support the people who are giving away free or cheap things and I want them to be picked up, but B, I want the algorithm to recognise that I want to see those things. So I think I liked it at the time, kind of thinking, it might be something to do, but I don't really fancy it. It was for slave play, and it was just not really something I had any interest in seeing. But because I was about to leave work, and I'd been looking all day, so I really wanted to, clearly in the back of my mind, I really wanted to go see a show. And it being a play, I knew it was shorter. Unfortunately, it wasn't as short as I would hope a play to be, but it was still shorter than a musical. And I prepared for it, I knew what I was gonna do. So I messaged and I was like, are you sure it's free? Why is it free? And it turns out it's someone who works at one of the theatres who got free comp tickets and didn't give away, they had a spare one basically. So I was like, okay, then at least I don't feel bad. It's not like I'm, stealing someone's ticket that they paid for, which I have done occasionally, or at least, underpaid. And I do feel guilty when I do that, but at least this way I don't have to feel guilty. Now let me tell you, I knew nothing. I knew basically nothing going into this play. I knew that it was pretty well reviewed, and I knew that it was something to do with black people, and that was it. And I knew that I did not understand why the logo, the image of it, the branding was what it was. I was very confused by it, because it was sending off a very different message to what I thought it was about. Let me take you through to where I need to bring a glass as well. I'm gonna be back. I'll set you up in there in a minute. Hello. This, by the way, is my absolute drink go-to: elderflower and sparkling water. So anyway, sat down, got there very stupidly early, like ridiculous. I thought it was going to be great because I thought, the fact that I'm finishing work late and I'm walking, I'll be fine. And I got to the theatre probably around 6, and the show started at 7:30, and I don't think they opened the doors until 6:45, which was a bit annoying. So I was literally just stood around the theatre, kept moving spots for 45 minutes, which was not ideal, but we managed. And then I saw the show, and I had very good seats, I would say. It was stalls were okay, a bit to the side. The biggest problem with stalls for me is that I'm short, and usually in the other tiers or circles, whatever you want to call them, they're raked, whereas the stalls often aren't. Sometimes they are, but often they're not. And being short, I can't see over the heads of people. So I was quite lucky. Well, originally someone really tall sat down in front of me, and I was not happy, but there was no one next to them. So if I just angled myself, because I was on this side of the theatre anyway, I could still see not everything, but a lot. This show was something. It was something. For the first half hour, I hated it, more or less. I could see why it would appeal to people, but there was a lot happening that didn't make sense to me. It was not for me. And I felt like there were choices being made that I did not understand. But after the first half hour, that was all explained, more or less. Not everything, but most of it. And the only time I laughed in that whole first half hour it was meant to be a funny play, and it was when a character messed up a line and the two characters on stage broke character. But initially, they're speaking in Southern American accents, and it wasn't super clear, to be honest. I was struggling a lot of the time with understanding what they were saying. So I didn't even notice they messed up. It was only when they broke character that I realised they messed up. That is good. I have been saving this schnitzel for a while, knowing that it's good. Anyway, after that half hour, things started to make a bit more sense, things started to be a little bit more funny, things started to get more intense. And the intensity, wow, that just rose and rose and rose and rose. To the point where, when the actors came out to bow at the end, none of them were smiling. Like, I've seen many shows, and I've seen some sad or, upsetting or thought-provoking ones. And yet, at the end, when they're bowing, the actors are always, they shake it off a little bit and they smile and they relish in the applause. We were standing, most of us were standing, but the actors were, like, barely smiling. And as I walked out, and as everyone walked out, there was this real sense of everyone had been holding their breath. And I could just hear, as we were all sort of leaving the theatre, everyone just going, you know, like, just needing to take a breath and release it, because what? It's not a show I would have chosen to go see, and it's not a show I think I'd be desperate to go see again, but I think it's just not very in my vein. I could see why people would enjoy it, and I'm really glad I saw it. I'm really, really glad I saw it, and it was good. It just really was not for me. And I feel like I was kind of toying with this as I was leaving the theatre. I feel like it would have been good for me to have someone there to see it with, because there were definitely moments that sort of triggered my anxiety, and it would have been nice to just like hold on to someone. But equally, it wouldn't have been something I would want to watch with anyone. I was quite happy, you know, not being with anyone. Like, I was so uncomfortable for so much of it. This is so good. So yeah, it was certainly thought-provoking and interesting and funny. It was funny and intense, and I'm really, really glad I went to see it. I'm glad it was free, only because it didn't end up being for me, and literally, like, I've never walked out of a show, but I genuinely felt sort of in that first half hour, if it keeps going like this, I might need to walk out. And I mean, I wouldn't have, because I know that plays can redeem, and musicals, everything can redeem themselves. And in this case, it really, really did. But it was just, it wasn't a play for me. But I really can't deny that it was good. It was good. My only qualm, maybe, well, it wasn't perfect, but one of the biggest qualms it had for me was that I was in the stalls in row K, so not super far, and there were 3 more tiers, like there was, you know, it went up to a balcony, and I was struggling to hear and understand the actors very frequently. So I can't imagine, unless they had, you know, microphones and speakers, but the actors individually didn't have microphones. And I don't think they needed that, but I do think they needed more stage mics. So that would be sort of the only thing I would really actively point out. And then there were other things as well, but, you know, hey-ho. So yeah, that was my evening. And during the day I watched the tennis whilst at work. It was sort of on in the background. And it was a really busy day, but really good. Like, not overwhelming at all. Just keeps it moving, you know? And then tomorrow I'm expecting to stay late because I just know I'm going to be late, but that's fine. Shabbat doesn't come in till late, so it's fine. And actually, when I was at drama school, I spent every Friday night alone, and it sucked. I hated it, because Friday night is a thing in Judaism that you celebrate with family or whatever. But this Friday night, I'm going to be on my own for the first time in a very long time. Well, since the ship. And I'm so happy about it. I do love Friday nights, and I wouldn't want to be alone every week. I know that from experience. But it'll be nice to just have 1 week. 1 week that's a little bit more relaxed. 1 week that's just a little bit more chill. So that's what's happening. I'll see you whenever I see you next. Bye! Hello, I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to share 2 more things with you before I do. Number 1 is that, like with Cabaret, I've got a little sticker for my phone, which is fun, but I need to take it off the camera, obviously. And number 2 is that the match I watched was Paulini vs Vekic, and the Wimbledon match, and I was really rooting for Paulini, and in the first set she was not doing well. From what I could see, every time I clicked onto it, wasn't looking good. And then the second set she won, which was good. And again, the third set, like, it really could have swung either way. So I was very, very, very happy when she did win. And again, I felt a bit emotional. It's weird feeling emotional over sport. Who am I? Anyway, that's all. Good night. Hello, once again, welcome to the kitchen. I am going to make some roast potatoes. I boiled these about an hour and a half, well, 2 hours ago probably, only for, you know, like 10, 15, 20 minutes. I didn't keep track of the time, but until they were more or less soft. And now I'm going to make them ready to be roasted. I have put the oven on literally a second ago. This, by the way, I don't know if you can see that. That is very much the mark of a Jewish home, I would argue, because it is just how we do the amount of prep and cooking that we do for every Friday night, Shabbat, and all the holidays. I am curious, actually, if you're not Jewish, do you have a cupboard like that just filled with foil dishes? Now this foil dish, I think it'll be okay. I should probably move the camera so that you can see what I'm doing, but my grandma absolutely swears by rapeseed oil as the oil to use for potatoes instead of, you know, sunflower oil or whatever. And I've also got some sesame oil because I feel like you can't really go wrong with that. And I might actually put some sesame seeds on the potatoes. Will that work? I feel like that's a good idea. It might not be. Let me move you. Once again, well, as I was going to say, once again, you are balanced very precariously on the kettle. There we go. So, potatoes go in, if they want to. Move the chopping board, which I think I won't need anymore. Move all the other stuff I don't think I'll need anymore. Pour some rapeseed oil over the potatoes. I mean, once again, this will be a reminder that I don't cook. But on the other hand, roast potatoes is probably the thing I'm most used to cooking because it is a Friday night staple and it's one of the few things I feel I've done more often than others. But not so much in my grandma's kitchen, more at home, so I need to see what we've got that I can use. Obviously some salt. I have no idea how much salt I've just done. My favourite ingredient, paprika. I've put the oven on 200 by the way, but we're gonna see if it stays there or if I bring it down to 180. You know, I think I will go for some sesame seeds. Yeah, that looks really good. I like sesame seeds. That may have been too many though. Do I want to add anything else? I'm not a huge fan of pepper, but we'll do just, oh no, that's already too much. I think that'll do. Oh, garlic. No, my grandma doesn't have garlic powder. Could I could do some real garlic with it. I'll just do like some garlic with it. Can never go wrong with garlic. Except in dessert, maybe. Oh, that smells so good. I do love garlic. I've just finished watching the tennis, and I mean, I am making a whole separate video about Wimbledon and how I feel watching it, but I'm not thrilled about the match or the commentators. But the only positive is that it finished quite quickly, so I have time, because otherwise I would have had to watch and do this at the same time. I said to myself I'm gonna start working on this at 8 anyway, and the match finished at 8:05, so I was willing to wait. I have no idea how long this is going to take in the oven. I feel like 45 minutes should be enough, but we shall see. Usually I do this with my hands, to be honest, but I feel like because usually I'm on a baking tray, whereas in a foil dish, I feel like I'm more capable of using a spoon, because you've got edges. Actually, might not even have been enough sesame seeds. Although I feel like a lot of them just fell in the oil. Right. Why is all my garlic in one place? That's ready to go in the oven. Hello, the potatoes are in the oven. They are roasting. I'm gonna give them about half an hour and then just toss them and add my quiche into the oven as well because it was frozen, so I need to heat it up. But I just wanted to come on here and talk about today because today's been today. Isn't she eloquent? I did not sleep very well. Well, no, that's not true. I think I slept well, but I didn't dream well. I had some very uncomfortable dreams. I don't know what the right word is. There was definitely some flying to or from or both Australia, but at the same time hoping to catch the Northern Lights, which makes absolutely no sense if you think about geography. There was definitely some drama school, but not in a positive way, I don't think. There was just, it felt. And I wonder if it's because of the play I saw last night that sort of my emotions and everything just feels a bit warped and off. I feel like I came out of the theatre yesterday just feeling a bit off, and it may have just transferred into my dreams. And when I woke up this morning, I felt really tired. And when my alarm went off, I actually closed my eyes and said a few more minutes, which I never do. I never do that, especially because usually I've got the sun on my face. In this case, it was actually a grey morning, so it was all right. Or I suppose not, I don't know. But I definitely woke up feeling tired, which I feel like I haven't felt that way in a while. But then I went to work, and first of all, I just loved the fact that it was a bit of a cooler day. There was more of a breeze, the sun wasn't shining, it was lovely. Still a bit humid, and I brought my zip-up jumper and I didn't wear it once. But certainly better. And I got to work, and I knew, because I worked yesterday, I knew today was going to be really busy. I could already tell, and it was even more busy than I was expecting. But it was really, really good. It was a really good kind of busy where it wasn't stressful, it was just constant. And I was thinking about the fact that, you know, I used to work in like hospitality work type jobs where, you know, you're constantly serving people and you're stood up. And I loved it when it was busy there because time flew by. And I mean, in general, I like to be busy. I don't like to be bored. I like to feel useful, I guess. But when it's busy, like it felt like a different kind of busy, even though it was, in a theory, I suppose, the same kind of busy. But it was just so lovely, and the person I was working for was really nice. They were in a good mood too, and there was someone else who I don't really work with, but you know, who works in the same area, and they were really friendly and lovely and chatty, but not too chatty. Like, it was great. And I did have the tennis on in the background from 1:30, and I mean, I missed a lot of it, but it was nice in the meantime, you know, in the little gaps that I had to be able to flick back to it. So yeah, work ended up being really, really good, and I didn't feel tired once I was there. And I knew it was going to be a late finish. I may have mentioned that yesterday, but it was a late finish, but it's all right because I get paid for it. And luckily my journey home was very quick. It was, you know, the tube came immediately, which is nice. And I got home, and it was as I got home that I suddenly felt really tired. But I got home and immediately boiled those potatoes because I knew it would take time to boil, and then I would need to roast them later. So I knew I wanted to watch the tennis as well. And when I got home, they hadn't even finished the second set yet. So I was like, if I do it first, then I can watch the tennis and then roast my potatoes. The planning. But I did that, and I said hi to my grandma because she came home late last night, and I saw her very briefly this morning, but not for very long. But I didn't see her for very long tonight either, because as I've mentioned earlier, she's out. And you know what? I know I mentioned this as well, but I am quite happy to have a night all to myself. Because Wednesday night, in theory, I had it all to myself, but my cousin didn't leave until like midnight, so I didn't really feel like that was to myself. And then last night, my grandma came home around midnight, maybe even earlier actually. So I was aware of her coming home, and I don't know, it just didn't feel, I don't know, it's just nice. I guess it's just nice to have a night to myself and then a morning to myself where I can sleep in without being judged, and I don't need to worry about anyone else. I can just do it my way, and I'm not working. Like, it's just, I feel like I enjoy the freedom of that and just the chillness. Also, because my grandma is just a bit more specific about things and wants to do things certain ways, which I understand, but especially around Shabbat, she like has her things that she wants to do, and a lot of those things I don't feel unnecessary. I just feel like they're more work than I feel I need. So I do it with her, absolutely, that's fine, but to have one Shabbat on my own where I don't need to do all those things is nice. It's not even that many, but those few things, those little things, it's just nice. It just feels like I can breathe. Don't get me wrong, I love my grandma dearly, and I'm very grateful that I get to stay with her, but it's nice to, as an introvert, as someone who has her own quirks, it's nice not to have to do it another person's way. So yeah, for the next half hour, I might do some more work, I might watch YouTube, I don't know yet, I will see, and then I will eat. And then I will probably have an early night because I am quite tired now. But we shall see. It doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. Well, within reason, because it's Shabbat. Anyway, that's all. Goodbye. Hello! I've got about 10 minutes until Shabbat. I've checked on the potatoes. They're looking really good. I have turned down the oven a little bit because I've put the quiche in and I don't want that to burn. But I thought, as I was prepping everything for Shabbat, I'll show you some of the things that we do as part of Shabbat, because I never have an opportunity to show you properly. I mean, there's a lot of things, and I'm definitely not doing everything that we usually would, because I'm on my own and because I'm tired and I want to have a chill night, but I'll show you what we've got. So step one, to bring in the Shabbat, well actually step one would be going to shul, to synagogue, but not everyone does that, including me. I do like actually the Friday night service, it's a beautiful service. And it's not that long, which I enjoy. And I probably would go more often if it was like down the road from us, but it's not, so I don't. But the official thing that brings in the Shabbat is lighting the candles. Everyone has different customs about what you do with candle lightings. It tends to be that the woman does it, the woman of the family. Some people have the custom, which is I think the custom that I've sort of grown up with, which is that when you turn bat mitzvah, which is 12 for a girl, you light one candle. When you get married, if you get married, you light two, and then you do one for each child. That's how I've grown up. There are other families where they just light two all their lives, two as soon as they get bat mitzvah age, and stick with it all their lives, whether or not they're married and whether or not they have kids. There are some who do one to represent all the kids. Different customs, different things. I'm sure there are some where the man lights. I don't really feel I've seen that. I think generally the man only lights if the woman isn't home, but everyone does their own thing. But I do love the ceremony of lighting the candles. and having the candles lit the whole night. I think that's really beautiful. There is a law, I think, about how long it needs to burn for. I think it's an hour, but no, that's for Hanukkah. I can't remember what it is for Shabbat. It's for maybe 3 hours, I don't know. But it's lovely, it makes me very happy. So that's step 1. Then we move on to step 2, and my grandma does this in a different order to me, but most of the people I know in my life do it the same way I was brought up, which is that step 2, I've just come to the table, is to make kiddush. So that is, what is that? That is over a blessing over generally wine, but I always go for grape juice, and you say a blessing. It's quite a, well, it's not super long, but it's longer than just a sentence, over the wine or grape juice. Grape juice is allowed, and that is the next part. And whilst you do that, you have this on the table, which is covered, as you can see, by what's called a challah cloth, or a challah cover, I suppose. And everyone has different ones. We at home have many, and we used to get to pick out which ones we wanted to use for, or which one we wanted to use for that week. But this is, I think, the only one I've seen at my grandma's. Maybe she's got 1 or 2 others, but this is the one we use the most. And then once you've said the blessing over the wine, you go into the kitchen. And excuse my Greg's cup and the hot chocolate that's poured down the sink. You fill up a thing like this with water, and you wash your hands with it, usually 3 times each side, but everyone does their own thing. Then you come back this way, and once you've washed your hands, you're not allowed to speak anymore. You're not allowed to say anything, because then you uncover this, ta-da! And you usually have 2 challahs, or 2 challah rolls, 2 anyway, and they have to be uncut. And then you make a blessing over those 2, and at that point, no, actually not at that point, then you cut the challah for however many people there are, and once you've eaten the challah, you're allowed to talk. And then the meal begins. That's a quick rundown of Shabbat. And usually on a Friday night, you would have a soup, a main with usually chicken, meat, or something. And then, of course, dessert. And what's very traditional, I think, more in the British families, is to have chocolate after dessert, like just a chocolate or a Bendix. And at the end of the meal, you do another long blessing, which you usually sing or sometimes say to yourself, but it really is quite long. So I'm not even going to show you that or talk about that. Right, I've now got about 5 minutes until Shabbat, so I need to switch all the appropriate lights on and off and switch this off and charge it because it's running low on battery. So I will see you either Saturday night or Sunday. Bye! Hello! I have had a really lovely day today on the whole. I had a little bit of a lie-in, which was nice, although the sun was absolutely burning my face this morning, but we managed, we're okay. And then we had family members come round for brunch, and this is a family I've not seen for about 5 years, and I don't see very frequently at all because they don't live here. And also they're a bit further away, they're a bit more extended family, so it was nice to see them, but equally I had to leave early because of work, and I was quite glad that I had an excuse to leave early. It was really, really lovely seeing them, don't get me wrong, but I have a very low social battery, and I was definitely feeling like I was happy to go. And one might think that work also requires, social energy, but it feels really different. It feels, I don't know, I can't explain it, but I think it's because at home or with family, I need to just be myself. And at work, I know exactly more or less what to say, how to be. I'm still myself, but I'm a different version of myself that doesn't feel like it requires the same energy source. I can't explain it properly. Maybe other introverts can relate, maybe they can't. I don't know, it's the way I work. I've always been fine at work and not so fine, like, personal level. So, I think it is just because I know what I'm saying and doing at work, whereas in my personal life, I'm just a bit more awkward. But anyway, it was a little bit busy when I got there, not crazy, but a little bit. And then it was so dead after the first maybe hour or so, and I got so much work for my aunt done, which was great. And I was able to watch a bit of the tennis, and I'm very glad, oh no, I need to talk about this. I've made a separate Wimbledon video, you may have seen it already, but I will talk about my feelings and thoughts there. And then I watched the first half of the football at work, which was also good, I enjoyed it. And the half time was at 10 to 9-ish, and I finished work at 9. So literally when it hit 9, I ran out and I was waiting by the bus stop, and I was checking my phone for the scores if it had started again. And no, it still said half time. And then the bus came and I got on, and obviously I put my phone away while I was getting on the bus and whatnot. By the time I sat down, Spain had scored. I was like, well, that is really typical. Just like the 2 minutes I'm not looking at my phone. But anyway, luckily I had a really short journey home. I think the roads were just empty because of the football, and more or less ran home from the bus stop and managed to watch probably the last 20 minutes of the match, so that was good. I think I watched England score. I think I started watching almost as England scored. And then, of course, Spain scored at the end. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad Spain won. I know I should be for England, and usually I think I would be, but I hate the way England becomes when they win. And I hate the way they forget about all the women's achievements when it's the men's. And yeah, I'm in a way relieved that England hasn't won. And I've just had supper, which was literally just leftovers from brunch because there is so much food left over. I don't know how I'm gonna eat it all. And I just filmed my Dear Hopefuls video, which I need to edit in a minute, but now I'm first chatting to you. I also want to talk about what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing this dress, which you would have seen loads on my channel since I started it, basically. I don't know what year I got this, but it was probably, I think I had this on already in my first Booktober video, or one of those, which I believe was 2016 off the top of my head, so that's 8 years. A long enough time anyway. But because there's a thing at the back which kind of holds the back together, and that broke probably about 4 or 5 years ago. So I've kept it in my cupboard because I do know that I still wear it occasionally, but as a result, the sleeves don't sit, like they'll slide off. And so in my head, I very much sort of considered this now a beach dress, like a dress I wear over swimwear when I'm going to the beach and I can throw back on over wet swimwear because I don't care. Also, I love the sleeves, but they are a nightmare in terms of productivity, especially when I'm doing washing up and things like that. But today, I just decided to pull it out of the cupboard. It's literally been in the back of my cupboard because I do things by sleeve length and I count this as a long sleeve, which probably I shouldn't, but anyway. And as I say, I've just been ignoring it for the last probably few years. And I took it out and I put it on and it actually made me very happy, despite the fact that I couldn't wash up properly, which was annoying. And my hair was an absolute nightmare this morning. So what I did was I brushed it, again, wetting the hairbrush, and just that was it. And it solved it. And then I just put a clip in, like I can take it out now, I suppose. This one, and I did one go, didn't even look in the mirror, I don't think, just clipped it, and I haven't touched it all day. I've just taken it out, and that's the first time I've touched it. Which is a miracle because of how broken this is. It usually needs a lot of readjusting. So that was good as well. And then I put these earrings in, which I haven't worn in a while, I don't think. My brother actually bought them for a cousin and forgot that my cousin didn't have her ears pierced anymore. So I got them instead. And I actually wanted to wear them, I think on Thursday or Friday, and I could only find one, not the other. But today I was like, I've got time, I'm determined to find the other and I want to wear it. Because I didn't really feel like I had any other that were the right shade of blue for this dress. So I just thought, we'll go with silver. And I'm really happy I did that. I just felt really good today in the way I was dressed. And I think I got 2 or 3 different compliments on this dress, which was really nice. Although I had to laugh, my aunts got really into like summer, winter, that kind of like color shades and what matches your skin tone and things like that. And she's so into it and I'm like, eh. Like, I know that there are certain colours that maybe suit me better, but I'm so not fussed about it as long as I'm happy in what I'm wearing. So she walked in and she saw me wearing this and she said, Raquel, that's a really lovely dress. It's a really nice colour on you. And I said, thanks, it's blue, like all my other clothes. And she said, no, but it's a very specific shade. It's not really, it's like a lavender-y blue. I was like, you can't tell me this is not blue. This is 100% blue. It's like 3 different shades of blue. I don't know if you can see at the bottom here, there's like even more shades of blue. I see what she means in that it's like a duller blue maybe, but it's still blue. But I just had to laugh that when she said the colour suited me, I just thought blue, and she thought this very specific shade of blue. But I'm happy because I do like it, and I probably will bust it out more in the summer now. I think the problem was I just didn't know how to deal with the weather today because it was sunny and it was somewhat warm, but it still wasn't as hot as we had it like 2 weeks ago, so I just didn't know what to do. Anyway, those are all the updates. I'm gonna go eat. No, I'm not. I just ate. I'm gonna go edit the video for the Dear Hopefuls now, and I will see you all at some point. Bye!